from the Yamaha official team. We can just see Marvin Fritz getting himself ready to go on the bike. There are the only 3 riders to actually go into the 219s, but Freddie, as we know, qualifying is one thing. The race is completely different.
一瞬心君かと思ったら違った。いや。
So, Marvin, very quick walk. You know, you get ready for the race. Feeling hot today? What is your feeling for the first team?
I mean, we had a good week so far. I mean, the qualifying was amazing, but now it's the main race, so many points on the table. But yeah, let's do the same like in Le Mans, a good start, and bring back the bike in a good position, and then just do our stints. And we have fantastic weather, many people, and it's nice to be here. And now we can't wait to start the race.
All the best for you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
たくさんの人がいてここに来て嬉しいです。そして今コメを登録するあなたにとって何が最も最善ですか。どうもありがとうございます。翻訳できるよ。
たくさんの人がいてここに来て嬉しいです。そして今米を登録することができます。あなたにとって何が最善ですか？
知るか。あ、女子 TSR の女子女子がファーストだね。ヘリポートがね。
Not quite as wide as some of the more modern tracks, so it's a little bit shorter that dash across to get onto your bike.
And it's a much shorter run up to the hairpin here than we see at, say, Le Mans, where it's a long run up to the Dunlop chicane. Quite a quick concertina effect into the braking zone. Here, the riders, you don't get that sort of variation. Still be quite compact when they get to that braking zone up there at the source.
Well, the one thing at the source is it's a very defined corner. At Le Mans, you've got a fast right-hand kink at the end of the straight, so particularly on the first lap, if you're feeling good, you can be quite aggressive. And that's what we saw in the opening round of the year. Here at Spa, though, a first gear corner, you come back all the way through the gears first, it's going to be a case of a dead stop, so it should mean it's a little bit safer for everyone out there compared to
Now, you touched on it. Over the years, we've seen various challenges
そうなるでしょう。
from Yamaha getting off the line. I mean, it almost became, for everyone but themselves, a standing joke that they just couldn't get that Yamaha off the line. They fixed it for Le Mans.
Yeah, the standing start joke, really, because for pit stops as well, it was a big issue for them. They constantly struggled to
テ
get
レビ
that right
で
start, but it seems
機能載せたいんだよね。
fixed for them. And then hopefully for this week and for the rest of the championship, for the 4 rounds of endurance racing, it's not just about the start of the race, it's about every time you pit, every hour, you've got to make sure that you're able to make that stop clean, you're able to get yourself So
Yamaha on pole ahead of the B&W Motorrad World Endurance Team machine. Then it's Yoshimura who had such bad luck at Le Mans, crashing on the first corner of the first lap and then having to fight their way back. FCC TSR Honda are behind. It was, of course, the FCC TSR Honda machine that came to blows with that Yoshimura cert bike. They line up third and fourth. Watch out for those two down into turn one. Then it's the Honda Vilters racing machine. Obviously, Vilters jumping across from the blue machine, the Yamaha, to Honda this year. And they line up ahead of KM99. Look all the way down to ninth place for the Kawasaki WeBike.
今年は明らかにヤマハホンダの青いマシンの横を飛び越えてテストマシンが製作され KN99 の前に並んでいる
replacing Matteo Lagrive, who was injured at the Isle of Man TT a few weeks ago. Now, joining me in the booth for the race start, Steve English, having done all the groundwork, laying the foundations for this 24-hour of Spa Motor.
数週間前のマント TT ではスティーブ・イングリッシュがレーススタートのブーストに加わっています。
I don't think you can address me as a superstar, but Steve English is an absolute legend, isn't he? Hey? Legend among men. Yeah, good to be back, Tom. Looking forward to this race, obviously after that incredible race finish that we saw last year. You know, let's see what the next 24 hours holds.
Typical Yorkshireman wearing shorts, and it's 25 degrees in Spa-Francorchamps, deep in the Ardennes, of course, known for the inclement weather, even in the summer months, but unseasonably warm this time of year for the riders and racers, and that brings its own challenges, not just for physical fitness, but for machine as well. Tyres, of course, Joe.
Yeah, tyre degradation is going to be a huge part of this race, and you know, Spa's always got its own little microclimate, hasn't it? We see all sorts of weather conditions come fairly unannounced around Spa, but I think the forecast for the next 24 hours is pretty good. So you know, it's going to be touch wood a dry race for them all, and yeah, the tyre degradation is going to play a part, and hopefully, you know, keeping the riders cool and hydrated is going to be a huge part of this as well. It's warm, and it's a very physical circuit.
Lining up for the endurance start that we get in these EWC races. There's the pole-sitting Yamaha. Over the years, it's been difficult for them getting that machine off the line. It'll be Marvin Fritz who starts that bike. Marcus Reiterberger will be on the BMW. Then it'll be Greg Black on the Suzuki, followed by Josh Hook and Florian Alt. The lead stocker.
それは友達を動かすようになるでしょう。マーカスがバーガーに食い込むのは誰が BMW に乗り、次にクレイグ・ブラックが鈴木に乗り、その後にジョシュ・フックとフローレンスが続くだろう。すごいな。
And that Kawasaki going very well. That'll be Christian Camarino who starts that in third in class. The National Motors machine, 17th overall, Sebastian Suchet.
すごいね。
Yeah, we saw that Team 33 Louis Afro Moto in such a strong position last year.
サナさんこんばんは。はい、野田君。今日ごめんね。このこと以外は何も言わないから。
Green flag waves
Green
at the
flag.
back of the grid. All eyes on the riders now on the left-hand side of this start and finish straight. The national flag.
来た来た来た来た。
Go for the 24 hours.
ああ、ヤマハまたや。ヤマハまたスタート失敗やんか。何してんの？またやで。吉村です。吉村 TSR だね。BMW？ オールージュ。ラディオン。そう、ラディオンか。AMD だよ。おじいさんがわかんないわ。
Offering the inside line there to Reiterberger, not going too defensive, But Yamaha, what has happened there, Joe?
Well, you and Steve English put the commentator's curse on.
13
You
13
saying how well it was at Le Mans for them. So yeah, a little bit of a disaster, but it's a long race.
24からどこまで行った？
Everybody just keeps the powder dry in this first.
あかん、落ちてるじゃん。ちょっと待って、13いないよ。
Fairly optimistic moves at Le Mans very early on into turn one, which
ちょっと待って。
cost Cert a huge
ありゃー、31まで行ったか。
and ultimately, you know, potential win round Le Mans. So hopefully everybody can keep out of trouble, settle into their rhythms, and 24 hours is a long time.
Look at Kenny Foray on that stocker, up to 9th overall, the number 9 Tecmos BMW leading in class, started 13th, and he's moved 4 spots up the field as we see all the way down there, the Yamaha in 7th place, but that machine had so much pace in qualifying and testing.
ちょっと落ちちゃったね。
Machine, that bike to go forward. There's the Bocek.
誰がライディング？
Number 77 on the move. Isaac Vinales on that bike, but it is going
ココル君イエロー
that
か。
Yoshimura
ということはあれか。
that leads the
誰から来てるかは分かんないんだよね。
There's action all the way down the field because Vinales has now been passed again by the number
もうちょっと後ろ映して。
the two players of Switzerland.
頼む、お願いやから。
Really battling
分かったから。
Hammer and Tom, 9th and 10th spots for those
いや
bikes.
全く分かんないわ。なんかもう全部黄色に見える。
They've got the ERC Ducati hold up.
いやちょっと翻訳タイム。
So it was a slow start for Ducati as well. Ducati down in 10th, Yamaha in 7th, but plain sailing for the bikes out front. The BMW seems to have moved away from the FCC TSR Honda and is now focusing its attentions on Greg Black. Marcus Reiterberger looks very quick, although the fastest lap of the race went to Greg Black last time around. As we see the ERC Ducati just past 2 bikes in a straight line. There you go.
It's not short power that Ducati is, but he's running deep and he's taking
They
it.
all run deep, I think. They all forgot there was a corner at the end of the Kemmel Straight.
Yeah, easily done. It's so fast at the end of there. That camera angle doesn't really do justice to just how fast it is through there, through that right kink. And you've got to get a lot of speed scrubbed off back down to 2nd, 3rd gear, through the right, the left, and then into these real demanding cambered corners. So you're dropping back down the valley into the bottom.
読まない。
This is one of the upgrades here. So out of Bruxelles, you've got the sort of new left-hander as they head up to Puon. This the long
あなたのお母さん。
working
あ
the
どこ
rear
っちゃ。
tyre.
Yeah, that circuit change, it used to be incredibly bumpy and a lot tighter. So all they did was they made you turn in a little bit sooner and they just smoothed it out. And it gives you a nicer run into that next left-hander.
If Terry Ryder was here, he'd say in my day it was a bit harder.
次の時代に向かってより快適に走ることができます。
No comment. He probably doesn't believe in arm pump either.
One of the other challenges last year was the lighting. A lot of the teams and riders were saying about how dark it was.
Yeah,
coming to Spa.
a huge amount of time went into that, and there was various meetings with various riders.
ヤマハダメじゃん。
To take a look in the dark and make an assessment of it, and it was decided that more lighting.
ヤマハダメじゃんってヤマハのダメージだっ
to
て。
facilitate that, put more lighting in, and ultimately get the riders on board. To
何やってんだよね。
Marino now under pressure from Marvin.
なんかいつも見るときスタート失敗してんのよ。
Hunting down Florian Marino, the number 99 machine.
まあまだわかんないけどね。
The BMW Marcus Reiter
その失敗したからって勝てないわけじゃないから。
into the lead of Greg Black. The front three as they were entering Le Con on the first lap, of course. The FCC TSR Honda being passed by Marcus Reiterberger on the run up to the con, down that Kemmel Straight on the opening lap, and that's how they've sat ever since. And you can see they're very, very closely matched. And actually, for everything that I said about the WeBike Trickstar machine, the Kawasaki, the number 11, look at that, in the hands of Gregory LeBlanc.
ああ、BMW 2位だ
Very well
ね。
indeed, because they haven't had
TSR
the
3
best
位
of。pace throughout testing and qualifying.
トップが吉村か。
Front runners.
Yeah, LeBlanc's just a class act, isn't he? He's been around a long time. He's a safe pair of hands to have on having your machine. And you know, we've seen another
Oh,
championship
上がってきた。
struggling a little bit, but I think,
28位。
put into this endurance series, it's a little bit different. They're going to be riding a little bit differently. Don't get me wrong, these boys are.
誰かがわかんない。
These guys are. If you put them on a World Superbike grid, they would not be embarrassing themselves.
Who's gone down here? There's a crash further back.
ああ、川崎 何番
over end, and that's done a huge amount of damage. Hopefully the
緑のマシンが
is okay as Marcus Reiterberger now looking all over the rear of that machine, that great black Yoshimura cert bike. This is the battle for the lead.
ああ、はいはいはいはいはい。
Yeah, we commented on the
ほら、神湯。
Yeah, how difficult that was. But Fritz isn't going to be
Camille.
panicking too much. You can still see Greg Black at the front there. They'll be settling in. Just as we say that, makes up another place. So fast through there.
You don't want to be making a mistake as you tip it now into the second element. That's
ここはやっぱり耐久の経験とかそのあたりもあるんだろうね。
more modern bus stop section or the final chicane here at Spa-Francorchamps Camden. Got to bring it back a bit to get the drive onto the start.
スパの最終の試験が
Find the breaking
ね、き
spot
ついんだよ。
for the source. I tell you what,
で1コーナーはあんまり速度
BMW
出せないし、
very, very quick in a straight line, but
でここから下ってのオールじゃない。
that Suzuki, that Yoshimura cert bike, looking very good. Greg Black still leads aboard that bike.
Yeah, and setting up a bike ramp is there's going to have to be a compromise. There's so
で
much,
この
such a
こうい
fast
っ
track
て
with so many high speed corners.
これのとこが
You
怖い
want stability, you want
見
to
えない
drive the bike out the corners.
見えるのか
And
あの分かったと
unfortunately,
こ
when
が
you
見え
set
な
a
い
bike up for that, you're going to have to compromise a little bit in those slower, twistier sections. Put into the mix that you've got 3 riders that are all going to ride slightly differently. Everybody's going to have to compromise a little bit. So it's what
あ
works
違
the best
うわ
for your 3
私は見
riders.
間違い28だよね2828
Marcus Reiterberger looking menacing in second place. On the Dunlop tyre, of course. Now the lead bike is on the Bridgestone. So is the third place machine, and so
さあ
much
下って
mid-corner
って
speed,
う
just
わ
as I say.
ー吉村すごい
What
ね
Greg Black's doing. So much
BMW がすげえ追い
for
上げてきてるね
that BMW there through that left-hander, that new left-hander after the Bruxelles hairpin. Now we're through Pouhon, and you've got a feeling here. This is a question of when, not if.
Yeah, he's starting to look a little bit like he's been held up a little bit. He's looking at alternative
Oh,
routes
I
to
got
try
it.
and find a way past.
もう今にも行くそう行くような角度で
He's so fast.
And he doesn't make mistakes.
No,
When
he
was the last
doesn't.
time we saw a mistake from Greg Black?
We don't.
That's why he starts the race.
Yeah. So yeah, Reiterberger's just going to be looking for where he can maybe try and use the power of that BMW. Straight off the back of the Isle of Man, we've seen how fast that BMW is going through the speed traps there.
さっきのトリックスターだねあトリックスターは
He's good out
4
to
番だ
Paul
ね
Frere, though, the long right-hander onto this back stretch where you move through
え
Blanchard.
違うわ
And now
どうだ
he's
っけ
catching all the time. He's
11が
gonna
なん
have
だ
a
っ
look up
け
the inside. Can Reiterberg get it stopped? No, he can't. Thinks better of it. Backs out very, very early.
Just ran a little bit deep there as well.
どうだっけ
He wants past Greg Black, doesn't he? But he's just struggling to find somewhere where he can get past.
WC
Yeah, you've got to try and keep patient here in a level head. There's too long left in the race to make a rash decision.
Ten minutes completed here at Spa-Francorchamps. It is Suzuki that leads BMW, that leads Honda. And we're on to the Camel Straight. Battle of horsepower now between that Suzuki and BMW. Can Reiterberger get even with Greg Black? No, he can't. The Suzuki leads into Lacombe. And in third place, Josh Hook with the best seat in the house, just looking on at this battle. Good job from Greg LeBlanc. He's staying put in fourth. And then it's Marvin Fritz who's coming. Look who's coming to join the fight now. The blue,
そうだよね
Yeah,
11番だよね
Reno behind him. It's not going to be long before Marvin Fritz turns up to the top 3, and then we'll see what they've got up their sleeve, what they've got in their armoury, Yamaha. Because if you look at practice and qualifying, they've had a huge amount of speed over the field.
Yeah, that's going to be another little confidence boost from them, and an ability just to keep himself nice and calm. And hopefully Gregory LeBlanc can just bridge that gap. It's 1.8 seconds back to third, up to third for him. And if he can just bridge that gap and take Fritz with him, then that's going to put it into a five-way battle. That said, I don't know if Fritz is going to wait for that to happen. I won't be surprised if he makes the pass and just goes on his own.
Just helping Gino get out the commentary box there. It's the world's heaviest door, but he's managed it. So Gino Rear joining us this weekend. Fabulous to have him in the commentary box. You were here at Suzuka last year where we were all, well, we had everything crossed, didn't we? Because for a long time it looked like Gino might not make it.
Yeah, to be honest with you, the hairs on the back to my head.
Oh, yeah,
it was it's so good just to have him in the box.
Yeah,
there was a moment there where we weren't really sure what the outcome was going to be. So to have him in here walking around, and obviously to see him doing those parade laps at Le Mans was incredibly emotional for us all.
Position switch.
Yeah, it's a great pleasure to have Gino involved.
He's been out properly.
Yeah,
since not just in the commentary box, been back on a bike.
Yeah, just incredible. Incredible.
It's lovely to have Gino Rear back, and those endurance fans that are tuning in watching will know just how special a moment that is. Mandy Kite's looking on as the Yamaha is now hunting down the top three. He's got past Gregory LeBlanc. Just seen a replay of that.
1個上がった。27。
Before Josh Hook has that.
いや、カミーユ早いな。スタートが多分ちょっとね、順位が。でも走り出してから早いね。
The number 99 Yamaha there, Florio Marino. He's not far off either. He's not getting dropped in 6th position. So as all these riders start to just settle down a little bit, we might see this all bunch up, which would be brilliant.
21近くまで行くんだよ。
Close action.
Greg LeBlanc on that machine for Matana Grieve.
ちょっと
No Gilles Staffler this year. He's of course
でもね、
at mission control within the FIM-EWC stable.
もう後ろにいんだよ、カミーユ。
Sarata
前の。
is the new team boss there. We'll miss Gilles Staffler and
でいつでもこうパスでき
his
るからね。
reactions or lack of them. He had a very stern face, Gilles Staffler. Nicknamed the Wolf, wasn't he?
いやーいいね。面白いね。誰もいないけど。
I think when you're winning, you can lose. It can all change very, very quickly, can't it?
And I think now, talking of losing a spot will be the Honda of Josh Hook, because Marvin Fritz is coming like a freight train. It's Marcus Reiterberger who has the fastest lap of the race at the moment. So Marvin Fritz hasn't got that off of the BMW, but he's just hunting his prey now in 4th place.
Just seen Greg Black pulling a second lead over Reiterberger in 2nd there. The first Superstock machine there. Kenny Foray in 11th place.
Kenny Foray's done a wonderful job. Started 13th. Look, he's on the back of the EWC bikes. He's comfortably clear of the stockers. And you can tell this is Kenny Foray now aboard his Tetmos BMW with the red plate and white number. Now the EWC bikes have a black plate with a white number, but you know, he's on a stocker. He's on the back of that Kawasaki ahead of him. You know, he's only 2 spots away from Isaac Vinales. Right, what's happening here? He's lost a spot. So we've had a change for 2nd place as I look down at the timing screen. Marcus Reiterberger's lost out to the FCC TSR Honda of Josh Hook.
I don't think it's going to be long until Marvin Fritz has passed him as well.
スイッチしてるけど。
He's been very patient so far. Reiterberger's gone a bit deep there. He's gone very
Fritz has
deep.
gone under him, yeah. Using that Yamaha mid-corner advantage. This does generally.
Reiterberger is absolutely spitting feathers. He's either got a problem
あ
or
れ
he's
だよ。
annoyed with himself.
順位変わってない
If
じゃ
he's
ん。
made it 2 errors, he's lost 2 spots. If he's got a problem, then it's going to get very bad
さあ
for
次
the German
右だよ右
manufacturer, but
右
it
右
just seems
左だよ
a
ね
little bit flustered on the bike. You don't normally see riders doing that halfway around the lap.
あ右左か
I don't want to speak too soon, but it does
複
make me
合か
wonder
な
if that's
複合じゃない
mechanical. Because Reiterberger is such a class act, you know, it's not really his style to start running wide into corners
そうそう
15-16 minutes into
そ
a
のまま
race.
名前出しと
And
け
he struggled to get it stopped all the way through, hasn't
And
he?
he's
He's
really
dropped off
dropped
the
off
back now.
there, really dropped off.
You know, that bike
名
was
前
second
出しと
place
け
earlier
よ
on this lap.
And looking like he was
あ
going
ー
to
ちょっと
challenge him for,
2秒空いたね
he looked frustrated behind Greg Black, didn't he?
Well, we'll see if he pits this time around, but it's looking a little bit tense aboard that machine now. BMW, of course, the reigning champions around here, last year's winners.
おおヤマハ来たね
Sometimes when a rider
Fine.
gets past, if they're not
BMW
necessarily expecting,
が
it can just upset your rhythm. And
Well, he's not going into the pit lane,
I
so
was just
whatever.
looking to see if he was going to pull in there.
But you're absolutely right, it is rhythm. So there's no mistake here from Reiterberger, apart from just going deep, trying to hold off the FCC Tissar Honda machine who left it late, last of the late breakers up at the com. And Reiterberger not happy. The team looking on there.
Yeah, they'll be trying to assess the situation as well and just try and decide. I mean, he's still pushing on. He's not. I would have expected him, if there was a mechanical, I would have expected him to pit, unless it's something subtle enough that he can push through, and perhaps that'll get reported when he does come in for the end of his stint. But at this stage, he's still getting stuck in. He's still doing the leg dangle in the braking zones.
The old Rossi dangle. Are you a leg dangler?
Do you know what? I am a leg dangler. I was never into it before, but I tried it, and it felt a little bit alien. And there was a few people that had said, just try it because of your style. It's a little bit of an air brake, especially in endurance racing. It just gives you a chance to stretch your leg a little bit. And also, when you're braking really hard, you can almost lower your centre of gravity to make the bike a little bit more stable. I ended up doing it, and now I can't stop doing it. I can't ride without doing it.
It's amazing how difficult change is, you know, whatever the sport, golf, for
反応してないね
example,
前
you might change your grip or your swing, and it just feels so alien to start off with. But once you've built that repetition in, the thought of living without it, you just can't. Now, Reiterberger deep again into the Fania chicane, Piff Paff, and he's just fallen off the back of the front three. That is a Dunlop shod bike, whereas the top three now, all on rubber, of course. I wonder if that has anything to do with it in the heat.
Yeah, I mean, those Dunlops, you can get stuck in on a Dunlop pretty early on.
紙入れじゃなかったね
You have to sort of wait for the tyre to come to you, whereas the bridge turns do take a little bit longer just to start coming in. But
さっきライブで紙言って出てんけどでも映ってないか分かんないんでね
Built for that Suzuka
紙入れではな
race
か
hour,
ったです
so important for the
エース
Japanese
さんですね
manufacturer.
yeah, and we're about halfway into these first rider stints now. So where we've talked about that heat, the tyre decisions could well be starting to come into this now.
Fritz has been very patient on the back of this battle for the front.
He knows he's got the pace.
3秒
He was nearly a
ちょっと
second
4秒
faster
弱
than
や
they were a second quicker in qualifying, and as you've already touched on in testing, you know, they were blisteringly fast. This circuit does suit the Yamahas, that mid-corner speed where the Yamaha has that advantage. It suits it, and he's got the ability at this stage just to relax and take it all in.
吉村
There are the tyre manufacturers
TSR
on screen.
ヤマハヤート
Front three are Bridgestones, then fourth and fifth on the Dunlop, then everyone else on the Pirelli further down. And I think it builds a fascinating dynamic, not just having the manufacturers going hammer and tong in terms of Suzuki, Honda, Yamaha, Kawasaki, Ducati, but having a different tyre for the top teams, I think, adds that dynamic. And you know what we're experiencing now is going to be completely different to what we're experiencing at 4, 5 in the morning, where the temperatures really do drop when the sun goes in, and it's really difficult to pick and choose what compound to be on, and different tyre manufacturers are better at different elements of the race. We've seen that especially at Le Mans, where you have the really sort of wide spectrum is really cold at night and then can be quite warm when the sun's out.
Yeah, and the Bridgestones don't generally like the cold weather, as we've said, you know, they don't work particularly well, and safety cars can be a huge factor in that. The safety car comes out, and those Bridgestone short bikes, they've just got to be so careful when they're getting stuck in again. So yeah, the middle of the night is going to be another tactical game of making the right decision on the tyre compounds. And that BMW team, if that is a tyre problem, then they're going to be assessing that situation now on whether the next tyre they put in for the next rider change, whether they go with the same compound or not.
So tightly matched at the front, it's strange to see the BMW just disappear, exit stage left like it has over the last sort of couple of laps. Greg Black doing a fantastic job on that Yoshimura Cert machine with, you know, not surprised, but you have to say, with the FCC TSR Honda of Josh Hook, who was so dominant last time out in Le Mans, and then of course Marvin Fritz on that Yamaha, we know how quick that bike's been. Greg Black not making any mistakes, looking sublime out front.
Yeah, we know how good that Honda is on fuel as well. Obviously we've a fair way to go in the stint, but we know that generally that Honda can just eke out a lap. I would say around Spa, probably a lap, maybe two at a push. I think around Le Mans we were seeing 2 to 3 laps longer, which was incredible. So that's going to play a part here.
And it's got the toe, don't forget. That Suzuki's pushing the air, which is going to reduce their fuel mileage. They're going to be cautious on the first stop, they always are. But the Honda has had that toe, had the toe down the Kemmel, had the toe up to Blanchimont, and that's a big advantage when it comes to fuel mileage.
Yeah, and the Yamaha even more so. He's got 2 bikes.
Well, that might be why Fritz is looking pretty patient right now. Does he need to be at the front? Does he need to push the air?
No, and that, along with the fact that we know how fast that Yacht team is as a team, not just Fritz on his own. He's got no reason to panic at this stage. He's got the time to be mechanically sympathetic, you know, soft gear changes, still wants to stay with that leading bunch, more than capable of doing that, but he'll have all of those things in mind. And as a rider, it's a lovely position to be in when everything's just right, and you know that as a team, if you want to pull the pin, you can pull the pin.
And what's sort of amusing, the way we describe it, they're not on a Saturday ride here. They are literally, you know, we talk about pulling the pin. They pulled the pin already, but I know what you mean. There's just a 10th here and there that they might be able to just take an added risk. But these 3 riders at the front, and it's been the way now with endurance racing, as we see Fritz coming around the outside. Oh, Josh Hook thinks better of it, tucks back in for Blanchimont. Not room for 2 lines through these sequence of left-handers, but you know, endurance racing it's basically a 24-hour sprint race.
Yeah, these boys are so fast. I say it all the time, but genuinely I can't stress the point enough. I think back in the day, you know, endurance racing was get the bike to the finish, and not to take anything away from back then, but
it's all right, Terry's outside.
No, I'm going to get punched in the mouth, aren't I? But and those lads did push on, but these guys really are. I mean, we saw the Yacht team wildcard in World Superbikes.
もう周回ぐらい
Come on a long way. The reliability's come on a long way. They can sort of stretch the parameters.
Yes.
It's fantastic to see. And then they get off the bike, have a few hours off, and they've got to do it all over again. "24 minutes into this race, talking about doing it all over again. The Avio bike, the 101, is into pit lane. But that's, you know, something that's often missed is the physicality of having to ride at this speed for a prolonged period of time. It's longer than, each stint's longer than a World Superbike race, and that's fatiguing enough. Yeah. And then you've got to get off the bike, have something to eat, have a massage, maybe have a rest, and go again.
And the sleep deprivation is 90% of the battle. You know, you find inner strength from somewhere to keep doing it. A little bit like racing around the Isle of Man. You know, you do 4 laps and you think, oh my, there's no way I can do another 2. And somewhere you get the strength to do it. These guys are in the same boat, that they will be absolutely exhausted 12 hours into this race.
It's a certain type of mindset, as Muffin Fritz having a good look up the inside of Josh Hook. He's made it stick, says thank you very much. Into the pit pass, Kane there. And that's a position change for 2nd place.
Yeah, that was a nice move. Gave him lots of room, and even gave him the little dab of the foot to say thanks. You know, if Fritz feels as though his rhythm's being affected by anyone in front, he's going to have to go. So if he can sit behind without it bothering him, he's going to do it, I would think.
Talk us through this move. Just gets the drive out of Puon, doesn't it?
Yeah, lovely drive. And he committed fairly early on. Josh is sitting there. You can sense when there's another rider there. And he's pretty much alongside him as they go for the break. So
抜いてさ、足上げてったよ。
more room than he needed to.
お先か。
That was a nice move. Showing each other a little bit of respect as well. You know, we're 26 minutes in, so.
Hopping around in the seat there, Marvin Fritz coming out of the final chicane.
スパのストレート短いからね。
All the while, Greg Black looks remarkably smooth out front.
You almost forget he's there, don't you? Because he's like, he's AI. I don't know if he's real.
He's not hopping around. He's not sliding the rear tyre. He's, as we see, that's the BMW.
That's
Who's
Foray.
that?
That's Foray.
Is that is the Techmas BMW, the class leader?
もうやめて。
And has he gone down or is
あ、さっきの転倒したやつか。
What are we seeing? He's got a problem. So that's down at Brussels. That's
違うな。
on in the lap. So he's come
違う
down the
違
tunnel.
う。
He's gone through the
BMW
con.
どうした？
And the BMW of Kenny Foray, the
ロビーロビー言うからビビるやんけ。
superstar who'd been so quick as well in the early stages, hanging on to the coattails of the EWC class machines, and heartbreak for Techmas BMW, and that hands the lead to the number 24 machine, the BNRT 3D Maxes Neves bike. Loris Cresson, the Belgian rider, on that machine. 12th overall, with Sebastian Suchet behind the 55 National Motors bike.
今の1台があれやから1個分かったね。
In third place, 14th overall on the number 41 machine, the Chrome Burner Rack 41 Honda. So drama in the Superstock class. We've lost the BMW. Kawasaki have taken over the lead. We've got two Hondas, second and third. They're 12th, 13th and 14th overall, but that's the first bit of drama we've seen here across the field in the 24-hour race. We've seen the Avio bike into pit lane. We've also seen a crasher as well. That was the number 91 bike. But in terms of big news, that Techmas BMW going
おー、やばいくね。
It was only going to be a question of time. Marvin Fritz leads. He got a great run down to Blanchimont, didn't he?
Brilliant drive, and talk about giving him plenty of space. He changed his line massively there to go up the inside. And yeah, just touching on the drama for the BMW team. The other challenge about Spa is when you break down where Kenny's broken down. That's a long way to get that motorbike.
Well, it's a couple of kilometres.
He's right at the top of the valley there, so he's going to have to come down to the bottom of the valley, and he has to get that bike back to pit lane unaided.
I mean, it's a park and ride job, isn't it? Anywhere else in
yeah, you'd be looking for a bus. 100% you'd be looking for a bus.
And there's times here where it rains up at the top end. I mean, don't forget, this circuit really connected two small towns.
Yes.
And it's that far away. You know, you come out of this pits and paddocks sequence up the Kemmel, up to Le Comte. And Yamaha leads for the first time, but Yoshimura Suzuki have said that's not going to last too long. That bike of Greg Black's did not look slow in a straight line.
It didn't, though. He got a good drive and was able just to sit in the slipstream and get the toe.
I think that was a serious drive up the Kemmels. It made it look easy.
Yeah, and we just saw a shot there of Reitzberger on that double shot BMW, and he seems to have settled back in. His times have dropped off a little bit, but not massively. And whatever problems we saw seems to have settled back in now. Josh Hook on the back of the leading two, just taking it all in, watching any drama unfold.
Right. If you're on Twitter, you can get in touch at Tom Gaymore, at Joe Ackroyd, AKROYD. No C.
No C.
How common a mistake is that?
All my life.
Yeah, I get an E.
じゃあ
I get an E on it.
Do you?
Yeah.
この辺りで終わってきます。誰もいないんでね。はい。ということで現在は26番手。ちょっと2つ落としましたけども、まあまあ始まったばっかりなんでね。超眠たいです。ということで以上で終わっておきます。26番手。ではさよなら。